time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senator Jason York.
David Bell, the head coach of the Belleville Senators. Could just call him the David Belleville.
There you go.
Hi,
how
are you?
Oh. How are you, man?
Fantastic.
Beller, how are you doing? You got the boys going, eh?
Is that an Elmira Sugar Kings hat, or what's this? What do we got?
Yeah, that's a. So my boy Matthew plays at the at Elmira College.
Well, Elmira College. Okay.
Yeah. With Aaron Sauls, the coach there. They got a good program there. I was just up there last weekend. They play, the big dome rinks up there.
Yeah.
They play in there. Great atmosphere.
Oh, is that the ones where you got to go through the double doors to get out to the ice?
That's the one.
The one. We played there once, and the other team they warm up where the doors you got to come out, so you can only go out 4 or 5 at a time. So of course they're doing horseshoe shooting and just pelting you, and you can't do anything because only 5 guys come out at a time, and you're scooped. You just got to take the bullets and get to the other end.
So good. Like, there's old barns are the best for some of that stuff.
Yep.
Or not, depending on how you look at it. Belsy, your team is rolling 4 in a row. You only have 4 regulation wins as you get close to
losses.
Losses. I think 11-4 and 4. As you get set to play 20th game of the year tomorrow against Syracuse. What has been the secret to your success?
I would say different guys stepping out at different moments. I don't think we've got a guy in the top 20 of scoring, so it's shared. Everybody's in a different night. Pretty good goaltending. As of late, it's been our willingness to not quit and come back. Obviously, our starts have been awful. So we went 2-0, 3-0, 3-0 in our last 3, but we're able to come back. So that was huge. So just no quit attitude, I think.
Yeah, I saw that Beller dropping. That's pretty rare in that league when you get down 3-0 that you're able to come back and win. Like, what do you account for that with? How are you guys able to do that?
I got to say probably the leadership group, to be honest. I mean, you guys know, and I didn't blow a gasket or I didn't snap or anything. I just put it to them, kind of playing the long game and making sure they figure out the room and what they need to do. And again, different guys on all 3 of those different nights kind of stepped up and said something or did something on the bench and acted on what they said and kind of got the boys going. And then they just rolled and they played for each other, and it was kind of neat to watch. Just sit back and watch.
And you talked about not having a big name, I guess, player in your top 20 in the league scoring. Angus Crookshank's your leading goal scorer with 10 goals right now. What's he been doing right, if you will?
He just does what he does. He's the angry little elf. He's about as competitive as you can get. Just miserable to play against. He never quits. He's just around the puck. He's in the dirty areas. He's underhands. And he loves to score. Just loves to score. And he's done that for 3 years. He's led our team in scoring the last 3 years in goals anyways. And he just, even in practice, could be a warm-up drill. He just loves to score.
Does he get, I guess all players want to play in the National Hockey League. So I'm going to preface this by saying, does he get frustrated because he's been so successful in the A of not getting more of an opportunity?
Let me
talk to him about that.
Daily. Yes, he's an awesome story. Like how his injury, like guys rehab for a month or 2 months or 3 months. He rehabbed for a full year and skated by himself, trained by himself, and not a lot of guys could do that. And he is just so motivated to get to the NHL. He's rounded out his game. Like I have him out there now with the goalie out, or he PKs now. He'll do anything. He'll chew his own arm off to get to the NHL. I think he's desperate to get there.
I remember watching him last year, Beller. I was impressed with him. Like he's not afraid to get in. Like a lot of smaller guys play on the outside, and they because it's safe, right? He was a guy to me that didn't mind getting to the middle.
He is fearless. Fearless. Like he actually relishes guys leaning on him and hitting him and slashing him. Like that's what gets him going in a game. And like, I know if you pulled our team who wants to go against him in practice in a one-on-one or a small area game, nobody wants to go against Angus. Now he cheats, but he's probably the most competitive guy I've coached in all my years.
Yeah, it's funny. As laughing, you said angry elf. I was actually watching that movie last night with the angry elf from. That's when it's Will Ferrell. You're an angry little elf.
Yeah, that's what I call him, the angry little elf, because people always chirp him about being a little on the smaller side. So just a complex he's got. So I've went with the angry little elf for the last couple of years.
I love it. Hey, Wally loves Stephen Halliday. It's his favorite player. How's he been for you?
Stephen, he's been good. He's been good. Now look at him there. Like and we were just talking about him the other day. He is so skilled, so talented, by far the most talented, skilled guy on our team. But he's actually learning to play, and he's never going to go out and run a guy over or even body check a guy for that matter. But he's starting to play, like lean on guys. And when guys lean on him, he's having the ability to protect the puck better. And I think that's huge for him because he's starting to learn how to play against men. And as you know, Yorkie, when he gets to the NHL, like everybody leans on everybody. And when he first came in, it was a lot of toe drags and a lot of exposing the puck and getting pushed off the puck. And he's growing. He's learning how to do better with those areas. And he's fine. He's on a great path right now. He's on a really good path.
One player that's made an impact this year who you've had in the past, Adam Gaudette in Ottawa. Are you surprised at all the goal scoring success he's had at the NHL level?
You know what? I'm not surprised at all. And I use him as an example all the time with our guys because not to take anything away from him because he's super skilled and super talented. But if you look at his goals, he hasn't had one where he's toe dragged a guy or went end to end with it. He goes to the net with his stick on the ice. So I shouldn't say this loosely, not everybody can do that, but anybody can do that. Anybody can go to the net with their stick on the ice, and guy's been rewarded, and he's got 14 goals now or 13 goals in the NHL. That's awesome. And why can't anybody on my roster or go to the net with their stick on the ice? And I think it's a great lesson for our guys to watch the success he's having.
I was going over his goals. It's funny you said that, Beller, because I went back and watched a bunch of his goals. Middle lane drive, redirect, blue paint, stick on the ice, heavy stick, scores. Yeah, like it's a mindset. Like it's got to drive you crazy to get that through guys' minds, just to play simple and just.
Yeah, we just talked about it the other night in Winnipeg. We were down again, and if you don't have your A game, what's your B game? So you can't look me in the eye and tell me, hey, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna score. You can't promise that, but you can promise me. You can say, hey, I'm gonna go to the net with my stick on the ice, and you could do it. And we'll see what the results are going to be. And again, I probably referenced him again in that speech or spiel I had, and it's awesome. Now he's super skilled, and you can watch him one time a puck from the half wall and curl and drag in this league, but he gets it. He's going to the net with a stick on the ice, and it's awesome to watch.
Yeah, some guys just don't, like, he's 28 years old. Unfortunately, some guys, it just takes a while to figure out, right? It's like, I'm either going to stay down here and toe drag and have success. Otherwise, I'm going to figure out a way to get there and play the right way.
Yeah, he's a great lesson. He's a great tool for me. That's for sure. I reference him quite a bit down here.
Earlier this year, you seemed to have all kinds of goaltending issues. One they called up a goalie, and then you had Marilainen get hurt, if I'm not mistaken. How did you manage to weather that storm?
Well, it's good practice. I've practiced it for 2 years. Last year 2 years ago, we had 13 goalies. Last year, I think we had 9. So we're on track to maybe be under that on the over-under, but just good practice. That's all it is. It's just practice.
Well, fair enough.
Is there something in the water at Belleville? Like, is this normal, Beller, to go through this many goalies in the 8?
Absolutely not. No way. I don't know what it is. It's I don't know. I have questioned the practices. I've questioned the goalies. I've questioned the goalie coaches. I've questioned the trade. I don't know what it is, but it's crazy. But good news. They're both really, really well. Obviously, Levy's back and playing, and Sogi is really, really, really close to playing.
Couple of guys who are now up in the NHL, but you've had an impact, and I want to get your assessment. And they're the D guys: Tyler Clevin, JBD, even Nick Matenpalo has been recalled. I know it's tough on your blue line to be losing him. what have you seen from perhaps Tyler Clevin that you've liked this year?
Clev's been a little bit more aggressive, and that's something I always talked about with him when he was down here. Is he's a big, mean guy that in college you'd watch his games and stuff, and he'd have one or two big hits, and that was all you'd see on YouTube and in the highlights. But as you know, Yorkie, like he needed to be meaner in front of the net and meaner in low battles and early box outs, and just be a hard guy to play against. Those big hits are awesome, but you have to be hard to play against every shift, and I think he's getting better and better at that. Like his puck skills have always been there. He ran the power play at North Dakota, but I just think he's learning how to be hard to play against and understanding how big and strong he can be. I think is what his biggest growth has been this year in the games I've watched anyways.
JBD
is he's just a guy that he's a guy that's super good at his evaluation of his game and knows his limitations. I think when he came here, he kind of didn't have an identity. He wasn't sure what he was. And I remember the game. We were playing in Utica, and they had that Holt kid that's got a great one-timer, and he got a standing ovation in Utica's building. He blocked 5 one-timers on a penalty kill. And like their building gave him a standing ovation. It was like that soccer meme of that guy just getting hammered and hammered and hammered. And kind of that was his aha moment that, hey, I'm a penalty killer and I'm a shot blocker and I'm just going to move the puck and be good in my own end. And he kind of took off from there. And, you know, he's still growing, but that's kind of what he figured out what his niche was going to be if he was ever going to play in the National Hockey League. And that's kind of what I think he's going to be.
I really liked in the playoffs last year, if I'm not mistaken, you had Matt and Paolo and Clevin as D partners. And there's a chance, I don't know if they're going to play together tomorrow. I know they ran some drills today together, but big and strong. Like, is that a really good third pair, do you think?
Matt and Paolo he's a man. Like you get guys here and, this guy's but when you see NHL defensemen, like, the big ass on them, and they just, when you bump into them on the ice, they're heavy, and that's what Matt and Paulo is. Like he's just a heavy body. He shoots a heavy puck. He passes the puck hard. Like you could run into him and he's not even looking at you by accident. He's just heavy. So I'm excited if he gets a chance to go out there and play another year in North America. Like last year's his first year playing in North America, and just figuring out the smaller rink and figuring out the style and stuff, and a great teammate, great guy, really good personality when you get to know him. Like him and I banter pretty good about, always him being heavy. And I think he likes the banter and he takes the challenge, and he goes out there and he's hard to play against.
Well, it's hard to find those guys, Bella, because if there's a good one in the league, they're not trading them, because everyone wants big and long and mean right now. We had Luke Richardson. He said the exact same thing. Luke was talking about what every team's looking for. So, maybe they got a diamond in the rough here.
He is a well-kept secret. I know you guys just talked about the soft tampering stuff, but every time I'm in a media room or wandering around in an arena, I always get asked about Matt and Paulo by other scouts, and just I think he's a great player. So I think he's going to play at some point.
Is he? By the way, is he ready? I know that's not your call, but do you think he's almost ready to play in the National Hockey League?
That is not even close to my call. I would love to see my whole team go play in the NHL.
Fair enough.
But no, he's on the cusp for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I don't mean to take you down any road that gets you in trouble. Quickly, you're in the North Division, which you are 11-4-4, but yet you're like in 5th place. Is it tough to get any ground in that division?
Well, it's the overtime division. Every single game goes to overtime. Not only us, every team does. Somebody told me a stat the other day. We have the second least amount of regulation losses as in 4 in the entire 32-team league, and we're in 5th place in our division. So
it's crazy.
There you go. So it's tough, but we got the games in hand. We got the 4 games in hand. So you kind of got to take that into play, but it's a tough game every night. Every night's a tough game. There's no easy ones in our division, and that's good. I think it's good for the guys. It's good, not good for me and my hairline and my liver, but it's good for everybody else.
Hey, there's one more guy. There's another guy. That's the liver. There's one more guy I wanted to ask you about, and you mentioned him last year, and we had him on. I'll stop, Chuck. The more I watch this kid, the more I'm impressed. Like he's always low below the puck in his own zone, supporting his D. He just seems to know how to play on the right side of the puck, and he's sneaky tough too. I don't know if you saw his fight a
Oh,
little while ago. Like
it's
that
not
kid,
it's not sneaky, boys.
he's
And
tough.
tell you a couple stories about this guy. Last year, he's a rookie, and I do a thing, and a lot of coaches do it as you're marking your games and stuff. You just type beside it keeper clip for systematic play, keeper clips for when you're going to do training camp next year. You want to show players. And when I started putting my presentation together for this year's training camp this summer, and I dropped down all my, it's just Zacho Stopchuk doing the right thing, Zacho Stopchuk doing the right thing in the D zone, Zacho Stopchuk doing the right thing on the forecheck. He's all over them. And then, and he was only a first year guy last year. And then the sneaky tough stuff. Like I remember last year we had a game against Laval, and we had a pretty good rivalry going with them. And they'd said some things. They did some things in their rink. We played them back to back. So I started Omama and Sonia and Hetherington and all these guys that have fought, and I needed a centerman. I'm like, oh, I guess I'll put Ostapchuk out there. And he's the guy when the puck dropped, hunted down Logan Mayu, who's pretty good, and just absolutely mopped the floor with him. And I was like, oh, okay, then he's good. He's good. So no, he's a hockey player. I am not a scout. I'm not a manager. I don't tend to forecast, but to me, he stinks Adam Lowry all over the place, and maybe even better in a couple of years.
Well, remember we talked about that name about 2 months ago, Adam Lowry. It's so hard to find those guys, big, smart centermen that just play the right way and are tough. Like, it's very tough to find.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good one.
Question I have for you, and that's the AHL is a developmental league. So I'm curious, what is your mandate as coach? You want to build a winning culture, obviously, but is it more important for you to develop guys to get them to the NHL? Like, what's a successful year for you?
That's the $1 million question, Wally. Geez, I have a mandate that certain guys have to play, and they have to play in certain situations. But saying that, we also believe that part of developing is learning how to win. And if you're not producing or you're not doing the right thing, there's consequences to it. But so that is a tricky little balance. But a successful year for me is getting as many guys to the NHL as I want. That's why they walk through the door in Belleville, is to ask me and all the coaching staff and the strength staff, everybody, what do I need to do to get to the NHL? That's their focus. Do they want to win a Calder Cup? No, they don't. They want to get to the NHL. So I have to try to walk that line of, yes, this is what you need to do to get to the NHL, and a byproduct of them doing the right thing, I hope, is we win more games than we don't, and then get in the playoffs and have a run, because there's such a huge track record of guys and teams that do well in the playoffs and win Calder Cups that translates to them being NHL players or having success in the NHL. So it's a tricky balance, but I'm pretty honest with them, and I think that's the big message, is playing the right way, how you need to play to get to the NHL. A byproduct of that is us winning more games than we lose.
I remember Beller. Sorry, Wally. I want to Calder Cup, and it's the reason I went to the NHL. Everybody wants winners. Everybody wants winners.
First thing you do in the summer, you're looking at guys, and there's a new guy, and management sends you a video or a name, and the first thing I do is I hockey DB him, and I look at his playoffs in the minors, and just that's just what you do, and that's something huge on people's resumes, and I think learning how to win too, and hating to lose, and I certainly do, and I think that's part of the culture down here, is just absolutely despising and hating to lose. Hate to lose more than you like to win is kind of the way we win a game, and it's great. I lose a game and I lose my mind. So that's just the way it is.
I want to ask you about one player. Tyler Boucher, we all know, is taking some heat, but I'm curious of what you may have said to him when he got his first goal, and how much was it weighing on him? He's just a kid I've always felt for, because I think he's been put in an awkward position, and he never asked for any of that. So
no, he never did. And he actually scored last year when he was playing. But you know what? We've had a lot of talks with Bush, and he's creeping up on, knock on wood here, closest to the most games he's played in the season. I think 21's his high in the last 4 years. So when we sat down with Tyler at the start of the year, and again, it's media that put all this pressure on him to score goals. We have a plan and the metrics that we're kind of looking at with him, and none of them are goals. It's this is the type of player we think you are. This is what we want you to do. So after a game, when you look at Tyler Boucher's game, did he do this, this, and this? And none of it is did he score. So that's kind of, and we tell him that, but again, it's just human nature. He reads things, he sees things, and for us, it was great that he got a goal. He got a goal exactly how he needed to be big and strong in front of the net and bang a rebound in. But for us, it's just there's a process that we believe he needs to follow, and he's right in the pocket where he needs to be.
Good stuff. Quick question from James Murray in our chat, who said, when you're naming a captain in the AHL, do you take into account whether it's going to be a regular player in your lineup throughout the year?
Yes, 100%. We did. Part of the process for him was for us, for Pilon, he was a regular, never missed games last year unless it was because we had a veteran problem. So that's a reliable thing, the consistency of thing. And then he actually signed a 2-year contract. So the continuity of him being here for 2 years and knowing how the organization runs, that was a big factor for sure.
Perfect. Good. Thank you, David. I know things been busy. Had an open practice today. You're getting ready for Syracuse tomorrow. I appreciate your time, sir.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Awesome. And just, I tuned in to watch you guys with Donald. When is he on again?
Always good, eh?
Oh, he's awesome. I played with Donovan Jr. and he's the best, one of the best storytellers ever. When he remembers the whole story.
He gets going, eh? The one in the bush with the guns with Spezza and Kelly and the boys. That was the best story.
I've heard that one multiple times. That was the PG one. It was good. It was good.
Yes, it was the PG one.
Yeah, I will get him on as soon as whenever he answers my text, I will have him back on.
Well, the reception out there at the farm, you never can get a hold of him.
It's not good.
That's
not good.
so true. And he's chucking hay bales. Thanks, Belsy. Appreciate it.
All
Good
right,
luck
man.
the rest of the
Thank you
season.
very
We'll check
much.
in soon.
Cheers.
Appreciate it. All right. Thanks.